Welcome back, guys. Today's episode is about how to deal with scammers on eBay as a seller.
Which will happen.
And I will let Dutch go first on this topic because he is much more experienced than me.
There are a couple of things that you need to know. Number one, you are going to get scammed. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen, and when you try and fight it, if it happens to you more than once, you're probably going to lose. Be prepared for that. Work it into your cost of doing business. It's one of those things that's going to happen. Walmart has to deal with people stealing their products. eBay sellers have to deal with dishonest buyers scamming us. It's unfortunate, but it's a fact. As far as the scams that are going to happen to you, there's a few different things that are going to happen. I think the most common one is also the easiest to deal with, and that's people saying that they didn't receive their item.
Right.
Super easy way to deal with that. You print out your label from eBay.
Always.
If you
always.
can't print it out from eBay for whatever reason, if you don't have a printer, go to the post office, shell out the extra money for a tracking number. Mm-hmm. Upload that tracking number to eBay. If you can prove that it made it to the buyer's address that they provided, you win. Like every time.
Yep.
And also,
no questions asked usually with eBay.
On that same note, there is an address that the buyer provides you on the PayPal invoice.
Right.
Ship to that address. Mm-hmm. I actually have a buyer right now that I have to contact later on today who contacted me right after they paid saying, hey, I thought I changed my address, but I didn't. Can you send it to this address? The answer is no. 100,000% of the time, the answer is no. The way you deal with that is that you either ask the buyer, hey, can you still pick it up from that address? If they can't, then you cancel the order, refund their money, set up a new listing, they buy it again, and they change their address before so that you are shipping it to the address on that PayPal invoice. The reason you're doing that is because if you don't ship it to the address on the PayPal invoice, you're not protected.
Exactly.
The buyer can claim that they didn't receive it, and you have no way of, even with a tracking number, you have no way of showing eBay that you sent it to the right address.
All right, so the next thing that I want to touch upon is when people ask for discounts, whether, it's not in the item or it's not the condition that you said it was, it's not working, so on and so forth. I've heard every excuse possible. Mm-hmm. I'll send an item, I'll have it perfectly shipped, they'll say it's broken, which it does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it does happen. Them saying it doesn't work, it's not in the same condition that you listed in the listing, so on and so forth. I would say probably about 20% of the time, they're probably being truthful. Mm-hmm. The other 80% of the time, it's just somebody wanting a discount.
Yep.
Now, you're just going to have to take those right off of the chin, as Dutch would say, and just give them their discount. Now, you can negotiate the discount if you think they're being unreasonable about it. Like, let's say they have a working item, but they just said it's not in the condition that I thought it was in. 10, 20% is reasonable. When they're saying, hey, I want like 75% refund. No.
Just ship the item back.
Yeah, then just ship the item back and I'll deal with it on my end.
Mm-hmm. Unless it's $10 and then just give them their money and call it good.
Because normally eBay is always going to side with them anyway. So just save yourself the headache. Just give them the discount as long as it's reasonable. If it's not reasonable, either do the refund, contact eBay. eBay can help you through the process, but normally they're going to side with the buyer anyways. So just handle it correctly. If they're being reasonable, like I said, then just go ahead and give them their partial refund. Otherwise, just ask them to send the item back, even though you're going to have to pay for the return shipping.
Sure.
So, and that's what sucks with me a lot of the times is I'll sell an item and somebody say, oh, it's not working. Mm-hmm. Then, they send it back to me. I paid for the return shipping, so now I'm out 2 shipping costs for there and back, so I'm already in the negative. Mm-hmm. This is where I want to transfer into Dutch's topic, which is if they send you the wrong item back, a different item.
Yeah. So a lot of times the way that this kind of thing happens is either with electronics. They'll either send you a completely different item with video games. They'll send you a different Mario Duck Hunt cartridge thing you sold them or whatever. And a lot of times the way that it happens is with a brand new item. Now with a used item, if you sold them a Mario Duck Hunt cart, we talk about Mario Duck Hunt a lot on this show. Mario Duck Hunt cart. The label's in great condition, everything's in great condition, the chip's in great condition, and they send you one back that looks about the same. eBay's going to side with them. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, they are. I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you because I know that a few of the people out there that are watching this right now are actually wanting to start a business. Be aware of this. eBay will side with the buyer in that situation. However, if you send them great-looking Mario Duck Hunt and they send you back terrible got run over by a truck Mario Duck Hunt, you can pretty much get that taken care of 50% of the time depending on who you're talking to on eBay. Anytime you're dealing with this, do not try and contact them over email.
No.
Contact them over the phone. Have the number saved in your phone and just call them. write off an hour of your time. And for a Mario Duck Hunt card, it's probably not worth it because it's only $10. If you have something that's actually worth your time to do that with, call them. But with a brand new item, and this is where I've had the most success because I've been scammed so many times by people sending me back an open package with a completely different item than what I sent them. Most recently, it was a small electronic language thing. It was brand new, factory sealed. The thing was in great condition. I had pictures of it and everything like that. Sent it to the buyer. Everything was great. 30 days later, they send it back to me. Well, they open a return, and I had to accept the return. And they sent it back, and I got the item, and it was completely scratched. The screen was destroyed. Everything was... And eBay sided with them. So I'm telling you, it does happen. But the way you get around that with a brand new factory sealed item, and this took me forever to figure out. When I'm selling a brand new factory sealed item, and this does turn buyers off, be aware of that. There are certain buyers that will not buy my new items.
But you're protecting yourself.
But I am protecting myself. I am not selling a functioning item. I am selling a factory sealed collector's item. The factory packaging, the seal being intact, is a big part of the item's condition. And I list this in the description. If you open the packaging, then the item's going to be considered altered under eBay's user guidelines. When an item's altered, it can't be returned. It voids any returns, it voids any money-back guarantees, anything like that. So you make sure that you note that you're not selling it as a functioning item. You are selling it as a non-functioning factory-sealed collector's item, even if it's a spatula. It's a factory-sealed collector's item spatula. That's one of the ways that you can protect yourself.
And put that in all your descriptions when you're selling new items like that. And just to touch upon, because you taught me this, when you actually get an item in return, I'll just go into this short little story. So I sold a brand new Virtual Boy on eBay, right? I was lucky enough to actually get the serial number on video because I was showing off a game room tour at some point. Now, the only reason I sold it, because I'm not all about sealed stuff. I like open stuff so I can use it, so on and so forth.
Yep.
I got the serial number on video, which I didn't actually have in the listing, but I just did it for myself. And the guy says it doesn't work. I'm like, why did you open it?
Right?
This is before Dutch taught me all this stuff.
Virtual Boy.
So long story short, when they sent it back, Dutch said, take video, take pictures, protect yourself, document. Don't even grab it from your front door until you get your video recording. So I videotaped it. I took it in my office. I opened it up. I looked at it. Serial numbers checked out. And the issue that the guy had was the exact same issue that he stated. So I wasn't being scammed there, but always protect yourself. That's what I'm saying. So if it was a different serial number, I would have all of it on video and I can send it to eBay. But look, this serial number doesn't match, so on and so forth. Always protect yourself. And that's something that you taught me, and I still to this day, if I feel like I'm being scammed, always document it.
Yeah. Make sure that you have a unbroken video. If you sold something for $500, which I'm not going to suggest anyway, but if you sold something for $500 and you get a return from it, videotape the entire walk out to your mailbox, videotape the entire package before you take it out of your mailbox, reach into your mailbox, videotape every single little angle of it, put it on top of your mailbox if you can. If it's small enough, put it on top of your mailbox, open it up on camera. Do not take your camera off of it. This will not always protect you. It won't always protect you. There are times when eBay will still side with the buyer, but it gives you a better chance of winning if you're being scammed. If you're not being scammed, and this is another important point, if you are selling on eBay and you're not being scammed, you receive a return, and it's a situation like
what happened
the
to me?
Virtual Boy, you owe the buyer a refund, and that's what you did, and props to you. And props to you guys out there that are doing that, but do not try and scam your buyers, because that's not what you're in this business for. You're in this business to make a legitimate, honest business. Do it right. But if you're being scammed, then protect yourself.
Which, like what you're saying about this is your business, this is your livelihood. For the people that are doing it that way, what's the number? I mean, what is your biggest asset on eBay?
Feedback.
Yes. Which brings us to the next point.
Yeah.
It's called feedback extortion. And what that is when somebody messages you and say, hey, if you don't give me a full refund, I'm going to leave you bad feedback. And when that happens, you contact eBay, and eBay will side with you. They will block the buyer because what they're doing is they're blackmailing you. And it's called feedback extortion for a reason. And eBay is usually pretty good about protecting their sellers with that.
They're really hard about that.
Yeah. They're not. Now, eBay does side with the buyer a lot. I understand they're a business. They want to protect their buyer.
Sure.
They also protect their sellers in certain circumstances like this. That's something that's easily taken care of. If you ever get a message like that, give me a full refund or I'm leaving you bad feedback, contact eBay. eBay will side with you.
And the last thing we want to talk about, the way that certain buyers will, let's be honest and call it what it is, they will misuse the return system on eBay. What they'll do is, say you sell them a t-shirt, and it's a plain white t-shirt, so on and so forth, and the buyer gets the t-shirt and they decide they don't want it. Now, an honest buyer will open a return and say, I changed my mind, I just don't like the shirt. At that point, the buyer's responsible for the return shipping cost. They pay for their label, they ship it back to you, everything's fine. What will happen, unfortunately, 90% of the time is that they'll say, oh, the item's not as described. It's a different color white, it's not the same size, the measurements were off, whatever it is. And they'll wind up opening a return saying it's not as described, which makes it so that you, the seller, are responsible for the return shipping cost. It sucks, but it happens. A lot of times when it comes to selling things for a lower price, $15 or below, if you only have a quarter in it, you got it at a yard sale or whatever, just give them their money back. Don't worry about trying to get them to return the shirt, because it's not going to be returned in the right condition anyway. You'll get better feedback if you don't make them go through the hassle. They are trying to scam you. It's one of those things. You take it on the chin. You take it on the chin, you give them their money back, and you let it go. And after that, you turn around. There's a way that you can block buyers on eBay, and I do suggest that anybody who gives you a hard time on eBay, you block them. The other thing is when an item is actually broken, you owe them a refund. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. You owe them a refund.
Overall, these are just a couple of things that we've come across, we've dealt with, that we've experienced, and we were able to share with you. If there's something weird or something else that you guys have experienced, please let us know down below, because we would like to make a comprehensive video of every single way that people have been scammed or so on and so forth as a seller.
Sure.
A buyer's different. We're not making a video on a buyer, we're making a video on a seller. But yeah, let us know down below if you guys have any other weird circumstances that you come across or been scammed, because we want to make the community aware, and we want to figure out ways to deal with this as conveniently and effortlessly, and something that doesn't hurt safely and doesn't hurt our pockets as much, because just giving money back for stupid stuff is not a way to live your life and make a business with.
Nope, it's not.
We'll see you guys on the next one.